Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Commander Drew Brown, and we are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. Who's that other badass jet pilot? It's my wingman, my man, my good friend, the guy who watches my six, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, brother Paul?
How are you, Mr. Drew? It's good to see you once again. You're looking good. I really like that cap you're wearing. And the shirt,
yeah, we got some new gear.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, we got that new wingman gear, and I really like it. Thanks to Katrina, who had this done. I do appreciate it. Let's start off with this quote. I intend to live life, not just exist. And that was by George Takei, and I believe he was on Star Trek. But today's subject I really want to rock and roll with, and that was the John Morant story. But before I do the John Morant, you brought to my attention, they always talk about negative. How about Jalen Hurts? How about the quarterback from the Super Bowl champion Eagles? He just completed his master's at Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma, Dr. Paul. How about that? And nobody found out about it until you had to dig to get that information.
Yeah, I had to dig deep. And that's an interesting thing. It's a good thing, too. It's stereotypical, athletes are dumb. No, all athletes are not dumb. That's far from it. But the thing is, the reality is those who go to big-time sports programs, college programs, the graduation rate, particularly amongst Black males, is very, very, very low. Even the stars you see on TV for this school, that school, that's good. They make it in the pros. But the numbers who actually complete their degrees or are really functionally literate is not what it should be. And those exceptions.
We know many athletes who couldn't read and write, and they graduated college. But
sure,
they play ball, and that's all the school cared about.
Right. There's a famous guy, I don't know if you remember, the Chicago Bulls. His name was Bob Love. I think he may be deceased now, but Bob Love played for the Bulls. He was a star decades before Jordan.
There was a linebacker there that couldn't read. He used to bring the New York Times under his arm.
That's right. Yeah. They couldn't read, and but he found a teacher who taught him how to read a little bit so he could do something. People, they use their talents, and when the bodies give out, they get somebody else. But that's congratulations to him for earning a master's degree.
Let's talk about this one, the John Morant story. So I talked to my daughter, Taryn, last night, Tara Khan, as you call her, yes. And we had a very interesting discussion. I was going to tell her the name of our show today is How to Enter Thug Rehab, Trap House or White House. And she got very offended, me calling John Morant a thug. And I realized she got offended because she didn't want people who know nothing about this type of life to just all of a sudden get this racial stereotype of what a thug is. Well, actually, let me give you a little background on what a thug is. Thug, the word comes from India in the 1830s, and they used to violently grab travelers, take their bags, and steal from them when they went through India, and they were called thugs. Well, when I talk about a thug today in America, Americans have been thugs for a long time, Dr. Paul. Edward G. Robinson, James Dean, the Fonz, Marlon Brando, they were all thugs. And what a thug is, and the real word should be recalcitrant. And let me just give you the actual dictionary definition of a recalcitrant. A recalcitrant is someone who resists authority or control and not obedient or compliant. I've been called a recalcitrant very much, a lot of times. And I'm trying to not be a recalcitrant, but in my earlier days, I was, I resisted authority. But revolutionists are thugs, as I'm saying it. And the reason Taryn got so upset is because she sent me a picture, which I'm going to put up now so all you YouTubers can see it. People on Apple Podcasts or listening to us, if you go up on YouTube, you can get to see this picture. But I'm sure you know about it. It's a congressman from John Morant State in Tennessee. Him and his family sent out a Christmas card with everybody with AR-15s. So are they thugs? Yes, they are. A thug is somebody who needs a weapon to prove his power. That's what I'm thinking. So John Morant and the music and industries, Dr. Paul, do you know what the games, these multi-billion-dollar games that our kids play on the PlayStations every day, they're all violent shoot 'em up games. Everything we see in America is shoot 'em up. And I did want to say this. There are not people that look like John Morant that are doing these mass murderers. Just to know that. So when I say thug, I don't want it to be black at all. I just mean somebody who's kind of trying to go against the grain. So John Morant, what I was saying was he talked with the commissioner not 2 months ago about this gun thing, and he wound up doing it again. But he didn't do it. That's his kind of lifestyle, and his dumbass friend videoed it. Dr. Paul, what do you think about thugism?
Well, that's an interesting. I like the definition. I didn't know it originated in India. Yeah, it's a concept. Some thugs are not admired, just as you talked about the old movie heroes of the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. But the problem with the thuggery is that there are people who play that, and there are others that live that. When you live that, that's a different deal. We can always play and act as a character, but when you do that as a lifestyle and you affect the lives of people, it's a bigger deal. Yeah, he's in problem. He's got a problem because, like it or not, he's a representative of a major sports league and a franchise, multi-billion-dollar franchise. I think probably every team in the NBA is probably worth at least $1 billion. I'm going to say it right now. So he's a business. He's essentially face of a business. One time, Charles Barkley, the very famous basketball player, and you see him on TNT as a commentator now for those who don't follow basketball. A long time ago, he got in some hot water, which he shouldn't have, for coming on a sneaker commercial. It may have been a Nike commercial saying, "I am not a role model." Basically, I know, I'm not raising your kids. Don't do other things. I'm not raising your kids. And for that, he was roundly criticized by people who thought he should be, which is another discussion. But this guy, John Morant, he is somewhat of a role model for the NBA now as a high-flying star. They want to promote him. And, we can't have you getting in a whole lot of trouble. It's just a bad look.
Yeah. Well, Doc, I disagree with that 100%. And I've done that in my whole speaking career. Charles Barkley's right. He's not a role model. LeBron James is not a role model. They are super duper athletes. LeBron James is a wonderful person too. A role model means I can roll myself after you and become what you are. Dr. Paul, you're a role model because you can teach a kid how to fly a jet. LeBron James, you can hang with him for the rest of your life and you won't ever play in the NBA like he does. So a role model must be achievable. What these guys are, these are extraordinary super athletes are what they are. They are not role models because no matter how much you train, you cannot do what they do. So I don't agree with that role model thing. I think teachers and chemists, anything that you can learn to do would be more of a role model. Now, what LeBron James is a role model for the way you should act. 100%. He's been very famous for a very long time, and not once have you ever heard anything bad about him. And this John Morant thing, they show him with a gun, but once again, America, that's all they do. All these bikers, they're thugs. All these guys who, it's not a color thing. Guns are part of American culture and people who play with guns. And the reason that I really am against this, I have guns. I love guns. I love guns. But I would never pull out a gun and let you see my gun because that just means I'm violent. And I am telling you, I can kill you if I want to. So I don't know. But check out those badass jets behind us. Those are not thug jets. Those are Blue Angel jets. And I was talking to you the other day. Thank you for everybody watching and listening to the Wingman Show, too. We really appreciate it. But we knew a black Blue Angel, Donnie Cochran, and I'll never forget that. And I thought that was cool. He was the very first one. But the Blue Angels are some badass people. And when people ask me, are you a Blue Angel? I said, no, I do everything they do, but my audience doesn't clap.
Right. And you're a little flying a little farther apart. Yeah. Donnie Cochran's a friend of mine. Haven't seen him in a while, but we used to live really about within a mile of each other. it's a small world when you see somebody, you have an interaction with someone at an early part of life, and later on you see that they become famous. Yeah, the Blue Angels are exceptional. Got to see them last year when they came near my area. And for people if you want to see where they're performing, you can go online and just Google it, and you can look at the whole schedule. Maybe it's at a city or place near you, maybe very, very close. And another thing, if you go on their website, if you want to look at the maneuvers, you can actually get the manual of all the maneuvers they do. You can download it in a PDF file if you're that interested. Just go to the website. It's a very nice website.
100%. I think everybody should go see the Blue Angels so you can see it. When I say badass jet pilots, what we're talking about Dr. Paul and myself, guys who fly, we always said it. Well, I said it. There are only two kinds of pilots in the world, ones that can fly off of ships and ones that wish they could. Anyway, all you frequent flyers out there, thank you so much for listening to us. Please check us out on Instagram. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and Apple Podcasts if you want, write a review. But we truly do appreciate all of you. And our website, wingmenshow.com, we have a frequent flyer flow line. That means ask us a question. We have one for today, too. And we have a great wing person today. I remember my teachers, my 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teacher. I remember all their names. And teachers are so important, especially elementary school teachers. So let's start this show off with this. They just did a global study. Now, and this is good. I love this. A global study about kindness. And it shows that there's a kind act happening in the world every 2 minutes, I believe, was the study. But the real study was that only 11%, they looked at people who do kind things like helping people pick up heavy objects or helping somebody cross the street. And only 11% of the subjects that they were looking at did not help somebody else. And only 74% of them had an excuse. So the truth is 2.5% of the people from this study don't help others. That means there's a whole bunch of good people out there. And I know that kindness comes from within. Don't you agree, Dr. Paul? I'm so happy to get those numbers out there.
Yeah, I like the term random acts of kindness because I think people are predisposed to do that. Maybe even some of the thugs that you talk to, if you catch them at a weak moment. That's just, I think, the natural instinct to protect a child or protect someone in immediate jeopardy that's close to you, something that you can generally do, or someone helping you. I've seen it here. I've seen it internationally. One time I was traveling in Italy, kind of by myself, went to another place, and I was going to come back on the train, and all of a sudden there's a train strike, and I had to get back to where I was. Trains were on strike. How do I get back? I took buses. I took 3 buses. I don't speak Italian, but I had a language dictionary, and I'd looked up some words, and I talked to some people and kind of mutter some words, and they saw what I was trying to do. And I was helped part about 3 people on the buses, get here, do this, do that, do the other. And just through facial gestures, hand motion, a little bit of broken English here, I was able to do it. It took about 3 hours, but it was kind of miraculous. It was almost 45 years ago. But
you and I have been very blessed to travel the world. And you and I have seen repeatedly how even if you can't speak a language, there are kind people all over the world that are willing to help you, very willing to help you. And if you don't travel outside your county, you really don't get to experience that. Remember, travel is a very, very big part of your growing up process, mentally and physically.
But that was the time I was kind of vulnerable, and I was helped by people I didn't know me, and everybody was kind, and I appreciate it.
Well, I say always that, to be honest with you, Dr. Paul, I know how you can have world peace, and it's just to be nice to each other. And kindness and being nice is a very easy thing to do. And remember, we were talking about thugs, and are they thugs or really Americans? Are we really ugly Americans? I hope not. But to be a kind, nice person does not make you an ugly American. It makes you a kind human being and a nice human being. And let me tell you a little bonus. When you're nice to people, things come back to you. You know, one of the facts in life is everything you do in life comes back to you. So Dr. Paul and I really love our show, and we really want to make people feel better. So we looked at this thing that we saw, and we found 10 ways to actually make you happier. Because truthfully, I believe that happiness is the key. You know, why else am I living other than to be happy? And I mean spiritually, physically, emotionally, just to be happy. And it doesn't take that much. So, Dr. Paul, let's talk about 10 ways of becoming happy. I'll start off with the first one, which is set an exercise routine, a regular exercise routine. Dr. Paul and I happen to both work out in the morning, but I work out every morning, Monday through Friday. I wake up about 4:30. The point is I wake up early because I wake up early. I also go to bed early. But the point being, I have a routine. I get my coffee, I get my water. I call my wife, we meet downstairs at the gym, and we start working out. But every day, I really try to do something physical because I'm telling you, exercise, it improves enthusiasm, relaxation. You can sleep better. So many things come with exercising. And we'll talk about walking also. Dr. Paul, what about that exercise routine?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do the same thing now on recording days. Today, I do not. I take a day off at the end of the week, 4 days on, day off. But I agree. I did it. I did a good one. Yes, I say hard, challenging one yesterday with a weight vest. I don't do that much. It's like about a quarter of my weight, just to really kind of tax myself a little bit. Nothing crazy, but just to get everything going. But I do it in the morning too. That's when I'm best and optimum. My brain is fresh and it recharges me. And especially I finish it off with an ice cold shower. Been doing that a few months now.
Yeah, I do cold dips. You know, in the wintertime, I jump in the pool when it's freezing. And you're talking about something good for your body. You know, all those athletes always take ice baths. Yeah. So I get from the sauna and I jump right into the pool. That's called the cold dip. And remember, we used to go to Asia and all these fancy hotels. They all had cold dips in their spas. Remember?
Yeah, I saw that. I never did one. I always saw them, but I've been doing it for months now, and I've noticed the arthritis in my knees have just about gone away. And I was just wondering. All of a sudden, I realized that after about 2 months, I could, where I typically squat a little bit, about 20 degrees of change, I'd feel something. I go down a full 90 degrees. I'm thinking, what is it? I'm eating the same stuff. I think it was just the reduction of inflammation.
No
so
doubt.
That cold therapy is good. It's free.
Yep. All right. Number 2, prioritize your sleep. Prioritize your sleep. I go to bed on schedule, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. That means I wake up 7 hours later, 6.5, 7 hours later. I prioritize my sleep. Sleep is when you grow. Sleep is when you rest. Sleep is when you get all the things in your body going in the right direction, resting, calming down. And exercise helps you sleep better. What about your sleeping, Doc? And, when I said prioritize, sometimes Katrina goes to bed late, sometimes early, sometimes late. And what happens is our schedules are not really in sync sometimes. So when I wake her up for that exercise, oh no, well, you went to bed real late. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Yeah, I do the same, go early to bed, early rise, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I don't know if they still say that, but there's a lot to that. And the thing about the good sleep is if you're doing the workout, your exercise pattern, that's important to get good sleep so you can recover from the exercise and build muscle, build resilience, build everything. So having a regular schedule is important. That circadian rhythm, whatever you get to, stick with it.
Yes, I agree 100%. And you know what I'm not going to tell you who said this, but he happens to be infamous now, but one of the great quotes, and I tell my kids this, my son's a spine surgeon, Dr. Drew Brown IV, my daughter, Taryn, who I'm going to put up a beautiful picture. She's the prettiest girl in the world. Anyway, my daughter is an attorney for the largest law firm in the world. And the saying was early to bed, early to rise, work all day and advertise. Number 3, embrace family routines. Family is very important. And the more you can get to do with your family, the more you should. When my kids were younger, I didn't know it then because I was out there hustling, trying to make a living, trying to become successful. Spending time with them was the most important parts of my life. And those are the times I remember. Not all the other times, not all my speaking engagements, not all the accolades. When I spent time with those kids, coaching them, reading to them, I still remember little Drew used to just hug me around the neck and said, "Don't leave, Daddy, don't leave. Please read some more, sleep with me." And I just miss that so much.
Yeah, that's an important time. When you said, yeah, I was younger, I was out hustling. Most of us are. Most of us are trying to make a living. And sometimes you can get too wrapped up in that. And that's easy to do in a competitive society. You're trying to pay bills, trying to do a lot of things.
Build and maintain friendships. Number 5, share kindness. And I kind of put them in the same category. In order to have friends, you have to be nice to your friends. You can't be like you were when you were 14 and 15 and say all kind of shit to your friends and expect them to want to be your friends anymore. But having good, strong relationships is so important. You know, sometimes people want to be on an island by themselves, and that's not good for a human being. The problem is a lot of people disappoint you throughout your life. And somebody told me something very, very interesting. Friendships have shelf lives. Think about that, Doc.
They have shelf lives. Yeah.
In other words, not all friendships stay forever.
True.
So number 5 was share kindness. Number 6, very important, practice mindfulness through meditation. Now, I've been blessed. I was introduced to meditation a long time ago, and I do try to meditate, and it is very hard to meditate because it is very simple to meditate. All you do is concentrate on your breathing. When something comes in your mind, you don't push it out. You just say noted. I learned this in Burma. Katrina and I actually stayed in a monastery for a week, no talking. And we talked about this on other shows, but it's not no talking because you can't talk. It's no talking because it's rude to talk to somebody when they're meditating. And a good meditation, and I just learned this, Dr. Paul, is walking through nature slowly and mindfully and listening to the leaves and noticing your steps and smelling the air and feeling the temperature. That's actual meditation. What do you think about meditating?
Yeah, when you say you were meditating at the monastery, you said this before, and you had to be talking for a week. I still laugh. I'm trying to imagine you not talking for a week. But in any case, I do it in the morning, first thing in the morning. It's an easy time to do it, and you can actually do it throughout the day. You don't have to spend an hour. If you can get 5 minutes, a couple of minutes to just relax your mind, shut down for a minute, take a break. Breathe slowly and deeply, maybe to a count of 10 or so, or count of 5 or 6. 4, there's an easy one, 4, 7, and 8. You breathe into a count of 4, hold it to a count of 7, exhale to a count of 8, usually through the nose, but either one, 4, 7, and 8. That's a nice, easy one that you can do that anytime with your eyes open. That's a form of meditation.
Very good. Number 7. Know and use your strengths. I love this. Remember I said everybody is a LeBron James? Everybody is. That's why I tell young people, you have to go to school. You have to learn what you're a LeBron James in order to exercise that talent you have. But know and use your strengths. All of us have talents. All of us have talents. And when you find that talent, work on it. It's not just good enough to have the talent. Like I had talent in basketball. I had enough to pay for my college education, but I didn't work on it as hard as I should have. But it came, it worked out all right because I worked on flying jets and I worked on being a public speaker, and those were my strengths. What do you think about knowing and using your strengths, Dr. Paul?
It's the thing is to get out there and do something so that you know those strengths. Again, that part of travel in your mind, travel in the city that you're in, go to different exhibitions, see things, try stuff out, especially the younger you are, really any age, but the younger you are, give it a shot. There are a lot of kids that say, well, that's not for me. This, we don't do this, we don't do that. There are a lot of barriers we put on ourselves, for just doing good things, doing good and ordinary things. And a lot of it is kind of a machoism of fear, and that you're afraid to try. You're afraid to get out of your comfort zone. You know you can do it.
That's an excellent thing that you just said, because I think a lot of kids in school actually don't try because they're scared to fail. So when they get a 0 on their test, they can look at their friends, their thug friends, and tell them, "Oh, see, I didn't even study. I don't take no tests," because they're scared to maybe fail. Well, if you studied, you probably wouldn't fail. Number 8 and 9, I'm going to put together. Number 8 is express gratitude, and number 9 is smile. So number 8, gratitude. My daddy used to tell me, look, when things are going wrong, just start counting fingers and toes. And if you're starting off with 10 and 10, things are not so bad. If you look at your life and you say thanks for the things you have, and you need to start wanting what you already have, not want what you don't have, but expressing gratitude. Make a gratitude list when things go wrong, and you'll notice that the things that you have outweigh the things that you don't. Number 9, smile. Show your happiness. You know, a lot of that thug mentality I was telling you about, and this is not a racial thing, because there is only one race, the human race, so maybe it is. But that non-smiling thing actually means that you're scared. Actually means you're scared to show your emotions, scared to show you're vulnerable. And so if you notice, a lot of thugs don't smile. They try to stay hard, and I love it because I look at them and say, come on, why you got to be so hard? Stay hard now, stay hard. And you know what? Automatically, they always smile, Dr. Paul.
Okay. You're reminding me of a Navy SEAL that's very popular. I follow him all the time. He'll end his broadcast with "Stay hard," you know. But I like him though. I like him though. But he ends at that. But he talks about his own life when he was not so hard, when he was soft, and things were difficult for him, because the softness in him was more of a mental softness that he developed. He worked on himself and became mentally tough, not necessarily cruel, but just mentally tough and in control of his life. When he was soft mentally, he wasn't in control of his life. And,
that reminds me of a Tai Chi instructor. I shook his hand, and he was supposed to be like one of the best, and he had very soft hands, and he didn't squeeze my hand at all. And how come you don't give a firm handshake? He said, because I am soft on the outside, but I am steel on the inside. All right, number 10, set achievable goals. And you and I had a good discussion on this. In other words, set goals that you can reach. Yes, you want to be an NBA ball player. All right, fine. What's your achievable goal today? How about shooting 200 shots today? How about making sure your grades are good enough so you could stay on your teams? How about running every morning? How about not eating garbage and all these bad things you put inside your body? Those are achievable goals. Don't just say, I want to be in the NBA. There are ways to start, and you start small and you keep achieving those goals. Because if you set unrealistic goals, I want to be an astronaut. Well, God dang it, you first got to graduate high school. That's very important that you work on math and science. Those are achievable goals. And I think if we set our goals too high in the beginning, and I don't mean our top goals, but our achievable goals are the ones we can get to all the time and keep working at. And once you reach a goal, you set another. Dr. Paul?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but we're all enthralled by the possibility of overnight success, of winning the lottery or having something magical happen. And that's because the way we've been kind of raised on storybook structure, the 3-act play, beginning, middle, end. Something happens at the beginning, there's a catastrophe in the middle, and the hero comes at the end. And everything happens within 30 minutes or an hour or a 2-hour movie or something like that. But real life doesn't work that way. You need to take it really one step at a time. That's what I advise. And stay with the steps. The steps are good. You'll get to those goals, but don't skip steps.
Very good, Dr. Paul. You know, we're sponsored by Magic Mind, that wonderful substance that we drink in the morning. And actually, it takes away our stress and it gives us more productivity. Anybody interested in Magic Mind, all you have to do is go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co and put in the code Wingman. Put in the code Wingman and you'll get 40% off. And that brings me to A Wingman PSA. From the 11 facts in life, fact number 9. Develop self-discipline. You know right from wrong. Develop self-discipline. You do know right from wrong. And that self-discipline goes into those achievable goals. You know, discipline is studying. Discipline is practicing. Discipline's a very big thing. So, Dr. Paul, I told you about you know about our Wingman flow line. And all you have to do, everybody, is go to wingmenshow.com. I'll put it up on the screen. And we got a letter from a 17-year-old kid in Nebraska. Him and his sister are aging out in the foster care system. He's 17, she's 16, and they age out at 18 years old. That's an incredible, incredible thing that we're talking about when we talk about foster children. You want to give us some facts about foster kids?
Well, I understand that the statistics on them are not so great at times. It's unfortunate that there are kids in foster care, and a lot of times they comes as a result of maybe abuse that's happening, family dislocation, drugs are a part of it. The state seizes children, they put them where they can be managed by somebody. It's we're really talking about, family breakup. Yes, there are cases where there's a death in the family and there's no one to substitute as a parent. That's heartbreaking. The outcome for a lot of foster kids is not great after they leave foster care. A number do not go on to college, as you talk about all the time. Some end up homeless. A lot of girls become pregnant in a short period of time. And the outlook is typically not very good with them.
I'll give you some statistics, and then maybe we could tell our frequent flyer, these two kids, maybe give some advice. The statistics are really horrible. 25% become incarcerated within their first year of adulthood. 1 out of every 5 are homeless by the time they're 19. 3 out of 4 girls are pregnant before the age of 21. Fewer than 4% graduate from college. Only half of them are employed by the age of 24. And it doesn't have to be this way. When kids come out of foster care, usually all they want to do is survive. My advice, 100%, foster care, you don't like your living conditions, wherever you are, anybody who can hear my voice, education is your way out. A college is a way to run away from whatever you're doing when you're a young person. And even if you're older, go to school, learn a trade, learn something, be that LeBron James. But foster care kids, you got to go to school, because at 18, you can get a scholarship to any college in the country. It is possible. That's my advice for you kids. Doc?
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. Yeah, school is, education is kind of the great equalizer, if there is any equalizer.
That goes right into our wingman today. Our wingman today is a lady named Miss Rebecca Peterson. She was the teacher of the year, and she comes from Oklahoma, the same place Jalen Hurts just got his master's from. But this teacher, the reason she won teacher of the year is because she has a blog, and she makes her elementary students one thing. They have to write down and keep a journal of one good thing that happened in them that day. So she writes a blog about one good thing that happened in her classroom every day. And I believe, and I know that good things happen during the day. You shouldn't just push them aside. A thought, a memory. There are good things that happen to you. So if you look for the positive, you'll get the positive. I always say this, is the glass half empty or the glass half full? Well, a truism is, it depends how thirsty you are. Dr. Paul, whatever makes you happy, whatever's beautiful, and whatever's really meaningful, may I wish it upon you today and all our listeners from now on. I pray for peace, Dr. Paul.
I pray for peace. And once again, for all of our listeners who see us, listen to on podcasts, watch us on YouTube, particularly if you look at us on YouTube, please give us a like and share, subscribe, so you know what's happening when we put out a new episode. And thank you again for sharing our message.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth, and goodwill towards all men and women.